Hello and welcome to Victoria. Today I just wanted to present my design for an asteroid collecting ship. There's been a lot of people who have already made designs for this and concepts, but something almost all of them do was to make the legendary of each of the asteroids and then recycle them to only one singular type and make three separate ships for all three of them, which I think is pretty bad because it wastes a lot of the resources from recycling them. This ship still does so, but only when the requests for all of the other materials from the other asteroids are already satisfied. The biggest difference between this ship and most other designs I've seen so far is within the circuit logic. There's two modes you can set the ship to. You can either set the amounts of resources you can store manually, so say 30k iron, 10k copper and so on, or you can divide the total storage between the resources, let's say. So in this case I want the same amount of all five resources but the iron, and I just want twice as much iron as everything else. So if you look in this combinator you can see that it's twice as much iron as the rest, and this is the total storage, which is in this case I'm just using 800 of the stacks of the 860, which is set in here. If you want to upgrade the ship, you would also need to change this value. What the ship also does is if the ship has too many of one item, which in this case is the case for iron, so it has way too much iron, but as you can see it isn't throwing the iron out yet because it still has storage left. So there is currently 800 stacks of items in the ship, and if it is over 800, all the items that are over capacity will be thrown out. Here, down here is a counter for each of the asteroids that come through. What is arguably the most important feature of the entire ship is the item display. This just shows you how many of each item are in the storage. Also included in the blueprint book that you're going to be able to download in the description is an upgrade planner that upgrades all of the buildings to legendary that you can craft with the resources the ship produces, and also a LDS copper and steel generator. Because if you didn't know already, with the carbon and sulfur you can make legendary plastic, and if you recycle it again you get legendary steel and legendary copper, and the plastic just gets rerouted into the input, and if you actually get up to the maximum of 300% productivity you will actually not lose any plastic, so it is the infinite copper and steel. But in order to do that you actually need like 15 productivity researches, which the last one requires, I think, 250,000 science, which is a lot. So getting there is pretty hard. So we will probably still need some legendary plastic, but it's only a very small amount compared to the amount of steel and copper you're getting out of it.